Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to start our Kandinsky compositions. We just got done viewing our PowerPoint talking about Kandinsky and how he was a Russian artist. He kind of was one of the first people to develop abstract art and tried to use colors and shapes and lines to create and evoke emotions in his artwork. So here's just a basic kind of Kandinsky-like composition. You can see I've used some rectangles, some circles, an elongated triangle, a parallelogram, some circles, some curved lines, and some straight lines. Also zigzaggy lines. So just to do a basic review with us, there's all sorts of lines we can use. Right now in front of you with your pencil and your paper, we're just going to practice real quick. Obviously, we all know what a straight line is. Draw a straight line real quick. And we all know what a curved line is. You can draw a curved line. We know what zigzag lines are. Okay, we know what curly or spirally lines are. And you could incorporate any of those into your compositions. You can also use any kinds of shapes that you want. You could use circles, you could use a square, you could use rectangles. Okay, sorry, that's a little bit longer. There would be a rectangle. There you go. You could use triangles or anything else that you can come up with. Okay, so those are just kind of some of the basic shapes that you can use. So as we get started on our Kandinsky picture, this is what it's looking like right now. You're going to have a second piece of paper here. You can flip your paper over, and you are going to make sure that on the back of your paper you have your name. Please write your name very clearly, and then write your teacher's name, whoever your homeroom teacher is. Okay, so you're going to write your name, your homeroom teacher. Okay, and this should be an 80-pound piece of paper. So to start off our Kandinsky composition, flip it over so you have a nice clean sheet. Okay, and then you're going to take your oil pastels. We also watched our oil pastel video. These are our oil pastels. You should have a little paper towel here next to you so you can wipe off your oil pastels as you go. As you're following along here with me, you can kind of choose some of the same shapes that I've got. You can change them a little bit as long as you have a nice full piece of paper. You're also going to make sure that you do some overlapping. Overlapping is when one thing is in front of another. So I'll start with that. I'm going to start with a circle, just like we saw in one of Kandinsky's pieces. He had a nice big red circle. So I've got this kind of reddish orange circle here. I'm going to color it in. I like to color in from the edges of my circle, kind of get those nice and filled in, and then go a little quicker in the center, back and forth, and pushing hard so that there's no white paper. Whenever we have a nice shape or line, we want to color it in really well because we're actually going to use watercolors with this, and we don't want the watercolor to get into our shapes. So there's our first circle. Okay, I'm going to take another color here. I'm going to use this pink shape. And remember, I did say that you can take the paper off the oil pastels if you choose. If you don't mind using them with the paper on, that's fine too. Either way is fine with me. But remember, don't put your paper back in the box. Throw that away, please. So here's my first circle. I'm going to overlap another circle behind here. Here's my other circle. Oops. And oil pastels break every once in a while. I understand that. Don't break them on purpose, but accidents happen. And then I'm going to color this one in. So now we have the pink circle is going to be behind this orange circle. Okay, and we've got there now overlapping. Say it with me. Overlapping, that's right. And we want our circles to be overlapping because it adds some interest to our picture. I'm going to get a nice dark blue here, and I'm going to outline my circle just like Kandinsky did. in his picture. Okay, and I'm going to outline this circle here too. But we still see that the pink one is behind. Okay, now I'm going to take a square or maybe a rectangle-y shape and put a nice big rectangle in. And what I'm doing here is I'm kind of filling up the space. I want that space to be nice and filled up. I'm going to put my rectangle right here. Just like we saw in one of Kandinsky's pieces, he had like a yellowish, dark yellow rectangle, and then he had another rectangle that was overlapping with it. And so I'm going to do that just to kind of echo a Kandinsky-like feel. Now you could be doing something different on your paper. You could be using a triangle and overlapping a circle on top of it. Okay, I want you to take some artistic choice so that everybody's looks a little different. You could have a circle going off the edge of your page with a rectangle coming out of the side of it. I give you full reign to be artistic and use your artistic freedom to make something that's truly yours, not just a copy of what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just kind of giving you the idea. So here I'm going to color another little rectangle in up here, but then since this is oil pastel, I'm going to take the freedom to take this green here. I'm actually going to color a long rectangle down into here so that it almost looks like this is one long rectangle that's like overlapped, but it changes colors once it gets on there. So you can kind of see how that creates a new space. I'm going to take this same green and do a rectangle over here, just like Kandinsky had, and I'm going to color one little rectangle in this yellow and make kind of a pattern. You can do this, you don't have to. Yours is going to be different, and I actually want those to be white. So if you want something on your paper to be white, you have to find a white pastel and color it in. Why? Because we are going to use watercolors and color over this, paint over it with watercolor. And if you have something that isn't painted, it's going to be whatever the watercolor you use. So I'm going to actually take this and I'm going to make some lines here. You can hardly see that. You probably can't even see it. But there's a line there. I'm going to do another kind of diagonal line right there. I don't know if you can see those very well or not, but I want them there. Okay. I'm going to do some curved lines. I'm going to go back and get another blue. It's a different blue now. I'm going to do a curved line up here, just like we saw in some of Kandinsky's pieces. He used like a curved line on one of the edges. And then he had some straight lines kind of directing the eye in. Okay, and then I'm going to use a straight line here to kind of direct the eye in. And this diagonal line, I'm going to echo that here. And I think I'll actually even take this and make a little triangle here that I can color in. And now I feel like I need to put something in these spaces to kind of fill my composition in. So I'm going to take, I'm going to go back to this green. I'm going to get another elongated, long kind of triangle. Two lines going together like that. And another curved line up here with some straight lines coming out of it. Just like on the other side. Almost like they're symmetrical, but they're not. So here's my little Kandinsky oil pastel composition. When you're done, raise your hand. I'll come over to you and check it. I'll give you some feedback. What looks good, what could be done better, if there's anything. and then we will move on to the watercoloring once we get the Kandinsky composition finished in oil pastel. So again, that is Kandinsky's Shapes and Lines with oil pastel.